Welcome back to Earth Mom TV, and we are here with Chief Arvol Looking Horse, the 19th generation keeper of the sacred white buffalo calf bundle. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And my ceremonial name is Shungwaka Wichasha, means sacred horseman.
And you were given that at close to birth from early on?
Yes, my grandmother, after I was born, she gave me that name, and it's my ceremonial name.
So she knew, I mean, this was your destiny because you are a spiritual leader for the Lakota people, Nakota and Dakota people, and here you are, a baby, and you're given this name, so there was a knowingness about your destiny.
I believe so. And I must say that our people in the back home in the Dakotas were Sioux Nation were known as stewardess of the land with horses. And I have always been taught in oral history from the time of creation and through our ancient stories of how the sacred pipe came to our people. So my grandmother, I felt like she's always been there trying to uh, have me understand of how everything is all connected in this world.
Mm. Perhaps would you like to tell us about the story of White Buffalo Calf Woman?
Yes,
What she means?
it was during a time of hardship, and because that we're human beings, that we do things from our minds, and there's a time that people abused earth, and nothing was good. That every day, nothing was good, and here everything disappeared because that everything has a spirit, and we're supposed to follow the buffalo and sacred teachings. But what happened was like the people were sick and hungry, and they start to they brought them down to their knees, and people were asking the Great Spirit, calling. They were saying they were crying. They had tears, and their heart is hurting. That there's so much pain, sickness, hunger, starvation, and there's no buffalo, no game.
Mm.
And so the word Czechia is cheas to cry, kias to send your voice to the Great Spirit. And so that's a word that they use. And the two scouts are sitting on the hill. From the distance, a woman come to them, beautiful long hair, and she's carrying this bundle. She came and she told the people that, well, she told the two scouts, I know what you're thinking. One of you have no thoughts, and you know who you are. You come to me. So one had good thoughts, one had bad thoughts. So when he approached her, a cloud enveloped, and the clouds lifted. He was laying in skeleton, and from his hair went some snakes. And then she told the other scout, "Now go back and tell the people I shall return with this bundle." So within some people say the next day, and some people say 4 days later. But what happened was she came back with this bundle. She laid it down. The people were ready. They had a teepee and some sage. And then she laid that bundle down. She opened that bundle, and there's a red stone and a red wooden stem. And she said there's some tobacco, a pouch of transhasha, uh, knick, and red willow. Said when you put this together, you're going to honor the grandfathers to the west, north, east, south, Great Spirit, and Mother Earth. You pray for peace and harmony, health and well-being. This would help you from here on. And you shall walk upon Mother Earth in a sacred manner. There's 7 ceremonies that you would in time you would know. And in time you would know how to take care of this sacred pipe. And she left. She walked up the hill, and she talked to the people, and she walked up the hill, stopped, rolled over, stood up, and became a black young buffalo. So we prayed to the west. The symbol is the black. Then she walked up the hill, stopped, rolled over, and stood up, became a young red buffalo. So we used the north for the red. Walked up the hill, stopped, rolled over, and stood up as a yellow, a buckskin. So we prayed to the east for use the yellow. Walked up the hill, stopped, rolled over, and stood up as a yellow. Oh, it's a white one. So we used the white to the south. And went over the hill as a white buffalo calf. So the people said we'll call her the white buffalo calf woman. And she told them that someday she would stand once again, when the people are having a hard time. And there's going to be a lot of changes, earth changes, climate changes, a lot of sickness. And so that story has been always been told among our people in oral history. And she told about the buffalo ceremony and the horse ceremony that came with the sacred bundle. And I'd like to share that story, the medicine, because that heals Mother Earth, and that the buffalo, and the horses, in our ceremonies, like going back to the Black Hills, and like March 21st, we have a horse ceremony, welcoming the thunder ceremony, and we pray to the west for the horse nation to help us, and so that we have the rain will, the thunder beings will come back and would have a good year, and good medicine for this land here. And for 19 generations, we've been doing these ceremonies. And back in the 1800s, our elders had a meeting about treaties, and they said that the buffalo will be wiped out and the horses. They in Rosebud, South Dakota, they had a great treaty council meeting, and these 2 scouts were sitting on inside, taking care of these horses. And during the nighttime, there's an old man singing among the horses. And she said that in a song that this old man was singing, said, no, we, the horse nations, will be almost gone, will be almost wiped out. But we shall return once again someday, but we'll always be needed on this sacred land. And that song, sure enough, right after that story is told among the people in that camp, that this the scouts, when they heard this old man singing, they came through the horses and they found an old horse standing there, had his head down, and he was singing this song, these words. And as soon as and all his horses are standing there in a circle, and he was standing, this old man horse was standing there, had his head down, singing. All them horses were looking at the horse. As two scouts came over, then that it just came together, you know. Then the horse kind of disappeared into the crowd. But so they took that what they heard to the council and told the council. So this is what we heard from this old horse, this song. And they start singing that song, and then sure enough, after that, the buffalo were wiped out, the horses were wiped out, and what happened was like we have Model A's, Model T's, and today, from that time, today, that story has been circling among our people that a horse nation would come back someday. We still need them, but to have them everywhere, to have them because that's gonna bring the rain to us. That story, and the buffalo. We got caught up in living on the reservation and housing and a lot of drinking, and people start to abuse their families. And the women are the backbone of our nation. We have equal respect between man and woman. And here, this one woman, she was neglecting. She started drinking and neglecting, her responsibilities, abusing the children. And the judge in Montana. Now, this is early, probably in the 50s, or 60s, or even later than that. I don't know the time, but the story that, because it just happened to me. It just happened. I was a young boy, and they were neglecting their children because boarding school, and because of the abuse that goes on. So what happened was, like, what they told me is that the judge told this woman, or told the people, so take this woman and take her to that buffalo pasture. I'm not going to put her. I'm tired of putting this young woman in jail all the time. She's not going to learn nothing. Take her to that buffalo pasture and see what the buffalo can. There's a story that the old people told me about. Let's see if it works. So they took this woman and took her to a buffalo pasture. And as months went by, this judge started to see a change in this woman. And a few months later, that woman, after so many months, that woman quit drinking and took her family, and the children were happy. So that spirit of the horses and the buffalo and horses, and our ceremonies like that. The horses, we do a horse ceremony, Shunkawakam Wachi, horse dance. And so back in the 1800s and late 1800s, horses and our ways were outlawed until '78, the Indian Freedom of Religion Act. So now we're sharing a lot of our trying to bring that spirit back to the earth, and all of a sudden these white animals are being born white too. So we're that's why I said we're at the crucial point now. We have no choice today to really get that spirit back of our respecting that each other and the horses and the animal nation. So that's what our way of life is all about. Is that spiritual connection, and but the elders said no, it's our choice in life. But no, the prophecies. So you pray about it, and when I went into prayer, I what I felt and what I saw was that what is going on with all these white animals being born, it should have been years or generations down the road. But we have created as human beings. We brought them prophecies closer, and now these white animals are being born, and scientists saying that radiation, because of radiation. And but for me, I living on the reservation, my experience, what I witnessed, and now we're asking people all over the world to pray with us on June 21st. It's a start. I know that people say we pray every day and we do ceremonies every day, but no. We need to heal in this global community. And as a spiritual leader of the Ride to Wounded Knee, back in the 80s, we did a ceremony at Wounded Knee, South Dakota, 1990. And I pray that there would be no more wounded knees throughout the world. And for me, I really truly believe, that we can, if we have our faith and belief, and that's what it's going to take in this world to bring healing back to Mother Earth. Because the sacred sites are, again, there's chakras, there's sacred altar, prayer, the matter to empower excuse me, all nations, all faiths. One prayer is to empower nations, their own tradition, their culture. Because we truly believe that no matter where you are, your DNA would, if you go back to your medicine, you'll be much more healthier. And your tradition, your prayers, will be stronger in mind, body, and spirit. So what we have is a key to the future generations, is the spiritual health and well-being. And that's what we need in this world, because of all the sicknesses, global disasters, earth changes, climate changes. And we are faced with a lot of sickness. So,
but through coming together through prayer as a group, even on the designated days, just makes it that more powerful.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and touching Mother Earth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Welcome to Earth Mom TV, where Mother Earth comes first, and we try to bring you all things good. Today we have the honor of sitting with Chief Arvol Looking Horse, the spiritual leader of the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota nations. Chief Arvol is the keeper of the 19th generation white buffalo calf bundle. And he's here in New York today on a special mission. His mission is always about Mother Earth and caring for Mother Earth, but there's a particularly special mission that he's working with the United Nations for, and that is about establishing a special day on June 21st. An international day for sacred sites and cultural heritage. Chief Arvol, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. It's so good to have you here. So you're at the United Nations, and working with sacred sites and cultural heritage is nothing new to you. You been doing your World Peace and Prayer Days for the last 19 years at sacred sites throughout the world. And what inspired you now, though, to go to the United Nations and ask that this be made a specific holiday?
We're at the crucial point in our lives where it's a great urgency right now because of all the things that's going on in the world. We're being faced with global challenges, and it's a great urgency because of what we can't see and what we can't hear that is going to affect us more. And we have come from ceremonies. Even before we came over here, we did our protocols, and we prayed that coming here, our elders said, we'll be at home at our sacred sites in our homes in place of prayer, waiting for a good message from United Nations. And that's a pretty heavy, burden, heavy to for us to bring a message from our spiritual sacred places, because just coming here, already we have a lot of heaviness in our hearts, because we are going to speak to the world about sacred sites and how it's spiritually connected to the and Mother Earth has like power points, chakras, and these are what we need in this whole world to heal Mother Earth. And like we've been saying that no more are we alone as a nation, but we need people in this world are spiritually disconnected, and we need to go back to our sacred sites and our spiritual ways, and that's what the message is.
And you're talking spiritual sites throughout the world. I mean, even like the Great Pyramids and Glastonbury, and more than Native American sites.
Yes. The
Yeah.
grid of it's a grid, for the and but Mother Earth is sick and has a fever. Like in early 1993, we had a Cry of the Earth conference here, and the spiritual people and even Christianity, they all came together in the early 90s, where we have the same message that we are in that time when people need to unite spiritually in this global community. But one thing in common is that Mother Earth is sick and has a fever, and that was the first time that we heard out of our territory, people are saying Mother Earth.
Mm.
So to us, that's a beginning where we need to hear that message. And, and it is true. What is going on with all the tragedy since 1994, when the first white buffalo was born in Janesville, Wisconsin. Every year, a white buffalo calf has been born somewhere, and like all over the world, there's a lot of white animals have been born, and this is a message. Mother Earth is speaking to us, and we're supposed to be the messengers, a voice for the animal nation.
Can you tell us the significance about the white animals being born, all the white animals?
Well, every animal, every is to be respected, but it's sad that wherever they're born, they kill all these white animals,
Mm.
and the white deer and the white moose, and so we are like the message that we have is like it's so crucial. We're right now. We're being faced with a lot of sickness, and it's affecting all of us. With a lot of and that's what this whole world. If we can create an energy shift, we know in our ceremonies that we can do that.
It's doable.
Yeah, doable. Yep.
And your message then is coming out to all people, and what would help create that energy shift?
All nations, all faiths, one prayer, and that's what June 21st is all about. Bringing out a lot of good people, and it's all spiritual. And what we shared with our elders shared with us when we go to our sacred sites is, prepare yourself, go there with a good mind and good heart. It's like going to our ceremonies, and these sacred sites are sacred altars to the Great Spirit. So in our ways, we use medicine to bless ourselves and smudge ourselves, and to inhale that medicine into our mind, that we can have a good mind. I mean, we go to the sacred site, we humble ourselves, and that under the Creator, no matter. That's what World Peace and Prayer Day. I knew that it's going to heal Mother Earth, and we got to believe that. And when I was very young, things changed so fast, because when I was young, the temperatures were like 96, 98 in the Dakota territory.
In the summers,
Yeah, and now it's 106, 108, record-breaking temperatures every summer. And then we have today, last 4 years, like thunder, a winter storm. During we have lightning in the winter, and then a lot of earth changes, climate changes, and so we have the earth changes, climate changes, and right now, buffaloes and the elk is running away from Yellowstone.
yeah.
Because of the shift of Yellowstone, because of all the fracking that's going on, and it's triggering, and even the scientists are saying that anything can trigger Yellowstone. So right now we are, and if that happens, it's going to come down like this. Early 1934, in the 1930s, it's called dirty 30s, where here we are, we are messing with spirit, and all of a sudden this wind came, this dust bowl, and this messenger traveled to Washington D.C. and said, "Mr. President, there's a drought coming." I said, "What drought?" as he was trying to explain to the president, this cloud of dust was coming from the west, and this is what happened in the early 30s, early 30s. But no, what we're saying that is our message right now. There's a drought in that California and Texas, and lack of water. The water table has dropped, and so we're and Mother Earth is moving right now, and so we like a lot of people are back home are standing up against the Keystone Pipeline, and anything can break right now. No, we have to respect spirit, and that's why we do our ceremonies with the horses, the buffalo. Every place in the Turtle Island, it has to be there. The horses, the buffalo, so that the rain can come. Cement, concrete cannot bring that rain. It's told by the elders. Now you go tell people to take care of the horses, take care of the buffalo, take care of the animal nation. That's what's going to bring that rain.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So in our ceremonies and in our sacred sites, that's what we're trying to bring that energy back to Mother Earth, and it is the empowerment of the people to do that. But the message from Mother Earth.
So even
white animals.
the white animals, even in these uncertain times, there is a way to get through it. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Is the writing on the wall where we're just really going through these? We're going to have to go through more massive Earth changes, or is there a way to help Mother Earth heal through going to sacred sites, through being open, through prayer?
All over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
It doesn't matter if you're in the rainforest, because I went there in the rainforest, right in the middle, and talked to the people. That there's no outside connection. I went there and said, we see changes, great changes. What's happening out there? The Kogis came from the mountains. They came across the bridge, asked, what's happening out there in the world? We're being affected. We see a lot of changes. And in our ceremonies, it's affecting us in our ceremonies. So we said the same thing. South Dakota, Black Hills, it's affecting us in our ceremonies. So we have, this is the first year that we have sent a message March 21st to pray with the Horse Nation all over the world, because we need to share our feelings. That in this global community, we're all faced in this global community right now. So the message is that all these white animals are being born. There's a reason why they're born. So that's why we're here at the UN to honor June 21st as Honor Sacred Sites Day, because that's like to honor all nations, to empower all nations, their sacred sites, that they can help us heal Mother Earth, world peace, global healing.
It's so beautiful. It really is. And I mean, you've been at World Peace and Prayer Day now for a long time, 19 years, and when you first established it, I mean, did you see how much it would grow and the effect it would have?
When it first started, we was really hard, because when I was young, in the 70s, we just got electricity in our home. We had no electricity in our community. We were still in hauling water and lived in log cabins. And I thought I would never leave the reservation like my uncles, my aunties. And some of them were sent to California, relocation, and they, this is a big world, and they tell us young that I was thought, no, this is I would for me, I would never leave the reservation. But after we got our electricity, and then I was watching. My father bought an old TV. It was um, anyways, old TV that my father bought. He traded with the horse.
Mm.
So he brought this old wooden TV and black and white TV, and we would watch TV. Not very much interested. We were interested in horses, but my mother would watch As the World Turns.
Oh, she liked the soaps.
Yeah, she would wash dishes and watch.
As the world turns.
And here, right after that, I had a dream. Maybe because in the early 70s, we did a story. All these elders came together and said, from here on, like Chief Sitting Bull said that from here on, take the good and leave the bad.
Mm.
And what happened was like in the early 70s, we talked about the star knowledge. And the star knowledge, so we got to put this in the book. So we went to my grandfather from Rosebud, and they came and said, we got to put this and share it with the young people. In the 60s, they said that we should have schools, in our reservations.
Mm-hmm.
So we put this book together and talked about the sacredness and understand the stars, the star knowledge, and the history, and it's a mirror to Mother Earth. So we have our sacred sites in the Black Hills, and they're up there in the stars. It's a vortex. That's why our teepee is like this. It's a vortex to the Great Spirit and Mother Earth. The Mother Earth is spirit, and the sun, the moon, the stars, and to us, living understand that cycle of life,
Yeah.
the sacred hoop, Changleshka Wakha, the star knowledge, and so there's so much that I learned from the elders, the oral history, the oral tradition, and anyway, this was all in my mind, and I had a dream about this, and I was watching the TV, and then all these people standing in a circle. I was watching this TV, and then this earth was turning in that TV, that like as the world turns.
Yeah, yeah.
And somebody touched that screen, and it opened up, and all these people standing side by side. Then it closed, and then the earth was turning, and somebody touched that screen, different part of the world, and it opened up, and on another lot of different people standing in different places, side by side. Wow. After about 5-6 times, there's a fire, and I realized that they're all praying, giving offering that tobacco to the fire. And I thought, I told my father about it, and he said, my dad said, no, this is your dream. You're going to see this in your life, but you have to pray about it and let the Spirit take it. It'll help you. Someday it's going to be what it is. So for me, in the early 70s, and then it's always in the back of my mind. My grandmother, a few years before she passed on, and on her deathbed, she told the people that if the people don't straighten up, then he'll be the last bundle keeper. So for me, I thought about that. Then I had this, live in this world, and I just that dream uh, when the white buffaloes were born. A lot of people start to. Doesn't matter if it's in a ceremony or outside. People are everywhere on Turtle Island. Talking about the spiritual dream about the white animals, the white buffalo, and I knew something was about to happen. And sure enough, this white buffalo was born in Janesville. I knew somehow it relates to sacred sites, and so we had a ride from way up in northern Canada, Prince Albert. We took all those riders, the Unity riders, Bigfoot riders, and we rode to Devil's Tower, 1996,
Where's Devil's Tower?
in Wyoming,
Wyoming.
and it's part of South Dakota. It's right beside it. But the thing is, this is our first World Peace and Prayer Day. All these tribes, neighboring tribes, and elders, we did our protocol and gave them tobacco, and was the beginning of a World Peace and Prayer Day. And from that time, we have traveled all over the world, carrying a message. And every place that we went, we met the spiritual good people. That it brought in a lot of good people anyway, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And today it's all over the world.
So beautiful.
And today we know by coming here, even like some of the people that help us at the United Nations, they feel like it's the right time. So all the things, because it came from Spirit, we just kind of let the Spirit take over. But we're just following the Spirit here right now.
We're talking with Paula Horne, the overall organizer of World Peace and Prayer Day. Paula, welcome. Tell us a little bit about your work with World Peace and Prayer Day, and then you.
Well, in 1996, World Peace and Prayer Day, it started at a sacred site called Greyhorn Butte, but it's also known as Devil's Tower, which we've tried to change the name, and maybe this year, because the state of Wyoming is considering, but it doesn't look very good at this point. But our sacred sites are very significant to us, but they've been desecrated, of course, but that's another way they've been desecrated, is the names that they've been giving, because obviously it's not a Devil's Tower. And then we went around Turtle Island, and we went to the north in Canada, and then we went to Pipestone, which is a very sacred site for our people. It's where our sacred pipes are, the stone is retrieved from. And we went to Costa Rica. We took several elders with us, and then we went back to having a thank you ceremony in the Black Hills. So we always do 4 years, and then we do a thank you. And then in 2005, we were visited by a man from England who wanted to help us take it around the world. And by that time, we were kind of burnt out, because it's a kind of on a wing and a prayer that we do these things financially. And we weren't very keen about it at first, but he said, oh no, but I'm going to support this journey. And then he calls us back like 2 months later and said, oh, sorry, the funding went through. But with our ways, once we make a commitment, our word is sacred. So we ended up taking it around the world. And one of the first places we went was to Ireland, but it was intentionally supposed to be in the Isle of Wight in England. And at that time, it was mostly through internet and slow internet, by the way, dial up. And but I managed to find some staff there, and then that's when the hoof and mouth disease broke out. And so at that point, that kind of became stagnant. We didn't know what to do. There were all these government laws. We couldn't gather out in the country, and they were burning all the animals in masses and slaughtering them. So the staff had contacted us, and finally one day one of the staff members said, help, this is it. My grandfather, one of the staff members said their grandfather was crying and there was no more birds because it was so black, the skies from
All the fires.
all the fires. And finally, I told Arvol, and we just happened to be going to Sweat. And so we prayed for them. They asked for prayers. And I think it was like 4 days later, I got another email saying, you never believe what happened during the slaughter. A white Angus calf was found. And so they felt that was very significant. And of course, that's what stopped the slaughter. And they were going too far,
Yeah.
And so anyway, but by then we still couldn't meet in the country. And one of the staff members knew the organizers for the Ballantine fires in Ireland. And so then we contacted them, and they were really receptive because apparently there's a history of starvation there, and the Choctaw assisted them with potatoes, and they were like really, receptive of us bringing it there. So we did an initial visit, and then we had it in a place called Usnich, and where we had the Protestant and the Catholics come together and pray at the fire, which they were very resistant. Those guys are pretty burly guys, and they were killing
Really?
each other at the time.
Yeah.
That was during that time. But we succeeded, even though it was kind of intense at times. And then they took it to the Four Directions on Emerald Isle, as they call it. And they created a peace after 4 years. That's really where the peace truce came from, was the people. But of course, I think other former President Clinton or Gore got credit for it, for negotiations. But it was really them that did that fire for 4 years with us on June 21st. Then we had World Peace and Prayer Day in South Africa, and in which Ela Gandhi, who was Mahatma Gandhi's granddaughter, so I organized with her and her staff, and she worked for the parliament at that time. And we had a huge march, and we had it in recognition of the children that were killed during the apartheid. They had checked themselves out of school with their teachers, and they ended up getting all killed. And so in memory of them, all the kids checked themselves out of school again, and we marched from the Phoenix settlement, where the British had did a divide and conquer between the Zulu and the Indian community. And they live right across the street from each other. There was just this wall between one another. So it was the first time ever they watched each other's dance and ate each other's food, and they healed and they marched with each other. So we had it at the Shireen Temple in South Africa, in Durban, by Durban. And then the next year we went to Australia, and we had it with the Aborigines, which was pretty auspicious because during the last, I guess Arvol was saying goodbye to everybody. There was a man that walked out of the crowd, and he started telling me the story. So I took him to the front, and I had him tell his story, and he was given a crocodile bundle when he was at a young age from the tribe he was at. He was a non-Aboriginal, and he lived with the people, and they were moving, and so the elders called for him. And so when he went to talk to them, they said, there's a man that's going to come at a sacred site where it's shaped like a horseshoe, and he's going to deliver a message to our people, and you need to give this to him and tell our people to pay attention. And so they gave him a crocodile teeth bundle, and of course they said he'll be visiting in, I think, 32 years. And on the route to the event, him and his son got in an argument, and it was so bad his son got out of the car. And the head of the Aboriginal people was en route to meet Arvol. It was the last day, and thank him for coming to the country. And never picks up hitchhikers, picked him up. And he had 2 brochures on the seat So the sons start looking at them. You know, he started hitchhiking. His dad went home, and he started looking at our World Peace and Prayer Day brochure, and he was like, "Oh, this is a Native man." He just thought it was a peace event, and he said, "Oh, this is by a Native man," and then he got the brochure for the Grampians, and he opened it, and it was an aerial view, and it was shaped like a horseshoe. So then he calls his father up, and he says, "You got to come. I'm sorry." So his father makes it there just in time, and then he gets on stage and starts telling this story that's a lot longer than I'm telling you. But he hands the crocodile bundle, and he said, "Here, Chief, this is yours." And I'm supposed to tell the people to pay attention to what he's saying about sacred sites, that you need to put away your differences. And he says, by the way, it was 32 years to the day. And so we thought,
I have
So, and then Japan, the young people, they were getting messages. We had World Peace and Prayer there, I believe, in 2004. And they were really great organizers. The organizers came over and walked with Arvol. He leads also the Bigfoot ride. And so they came and walked the ride, and to pray with the bundle and show their commitment to sponsoring World Peace and Prayer Day. And they had, like, I think 3,000 organizers. I don't know how they did that because we only have a little bit and it's really chaotic sometimes, but they managed to pull off a huge World Peace and Prayer Day, and it was during a monsoon. So you know how monsoons are? They're like mist. You couldn't even see the circle on the other side by Mount Fuji. And you couldn't, but they had a canopy, and we had the sacred fire. And there was just, I think, 7,000 people, something like that. But it was beautiful. There's a huge site in front of Mount Fuji where we had it at. And since then, we had a thank you again in 2005. And so that's 10 years. So for 3 years, so we've been all over. We've had it in Mexico City, New Zealand. Last year we had it in San Ynez, California. A year before that in Wyoming. But it's been 19 of them. But please do come. Or if you can't make it, create your own space on June 21st. Is the
Yeah,
other thing.
definitely. That very auspicious day, the solstice, yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.